one of the most powerful things you can do for someone is make them feel like they matter. And so this idea of a true connection leads to so many other things. And I'll even use what we're doing.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to Free Range Vision. I'm Matt Jensen alongside Dr. Vance Thompson. And for nearly 2 decades, we've been pioneering in practice, business, and team leadership. And now it's time to share that trailblazing spirit with you as you chart your own path to success. Here at Free Range Vision, we'll unpack practical strategies, share inspiring tales, and offer fresh insights from our extensive experience in healthcare and beyond. We'll cover everything from the pivotal lessons we've learned to the formidable challenges we've overcome and sometimes lost to, providing you with the essential tools to steer your journey and empower your team as you venture together. So whether you're at the helm of a practice or simply striving to cultivate a stronger culture, well, you found your flock. Free Range Vision is here to inspire, equip, and motivate you to take the next step. Let's venture off the beaten path together. Free Range Vision. Vance, one of the things we hear from leaders all over the place is how important it is to feel cared for, especially in today's economy, in today's business setting, and even at home. Talk to me about your mantra on how teams should look at care as a priority within their organizations.
Yeah, I think you're talking about the most important foundational aspect of a great team, which I like to call work family. And this idea of work brothers and sisters, and I'm fine now to be work dad, work grandpa, I don't care. But I just think the same things that make for a great family make for a great work family. And that is loving and caring for each other. And I'm not afraid to use the word love in the workplace. I'll never forget Coach John Wooden talking about that, and you've heard me say it many times, and I'll say it over and over again. But when he was coaching those tough guys and said to get the best out of your team, you need to love your team. And, even, the military and amazing teams out there that will go and take care of their own. It just fascinates me, this idea of love and a team, and obviously different than the love you have for your God or your spouse, your family, your loved ones. But this idea of what I like to say to my team, the team who loves and cares for each other will create an environment where the patient feels loved and cared for. And in medicine, I just feel like sometimes people hide behind this patient comes first, or in business, they hide behind this customer comes first mentality when I say no. And I've made groups of doctors gasp at this when I say the team comes first and the patient comes second. And as soon as I say the patient comes second, you hear this gasp. And
right.
I say, I took the oath. I'm going to do the right thing, the Hippocratic Oath. I actually think most humans will do the right thing for each other. I think we all have this internal code that we're going to do the right thing. But culturally, if the team feels like they come first, they'll create an environment where the patients that walk into that will say, I love, and I notice how they treat each other. And I love and notice how they treat me. And I trust them to do my eye surgery. And I'm going to tell my friends. And so this idea of loving and caring for each other as a team is step one in a patient feeling loved and cared for.
I want to really pull on the thread of what you just said, Vance, because you said the team that feels, I want to make sure I get it right. The team that feels loved and cared for creates an environment where the patient feels loved and cared for. Did I have that right?
The team that loves and cares for each other creates an environment where the patient feels loved and cared for. Yes.
Yeah, and I want to pull on that thread for just a minute, because it doesn't just work in the medical setting. It works in business. It works on any boards you're serving on. Your teams everywhere, even your family. When you pay attention to and really invest yourself in loving and caring for another person, you find yourself endearing yourself in such a way where they want to love and care for you back and for the people around them. It's contagious in a good way. And you mentioned the Hippocratic Oath, which is, first do no harm. You raise your hand and you make that oath, and you're gonna do the right thing for your patients. But there's only so much the provider can do, and there's so many other people that touch that patient, and in business, so many other people who touch that customer or that prospect. That if you can love on your team and they feel cared for enough to care for the patient or the customer the way you do, then it's 100-fold as powerful as you can be on your own. And that's really the magic in it. And like we've been talking about, offline, it's like I like myself more when I invest that way in other people too. So it's definitely an outward feeling, an outward show of affection, but it's also, it comes back. And, from a faith standpoint, we don't do it just because it feels good, but a natural encouragement is that it does feel good. I like myself more when I encourage and uplift other people.
Well, I agree, Matt. And I will tell you, and you and I both know this, that one of the most powerful things you can do for someone is make them feel like they matter. And one of the most powerful things they can do for you is make you feel like you matter. And so this idea of a true connection leads to so many other things. And I'll even use what we're doing right now. I love pleasing you.
Hmm.
And when I look at you, I can't say that I like working with you. I like doing things with you. I like you. I can't even say that. I love doing things with you. I love working with you, and I love you.
That's awesome, Vance. I like you back. Just kidding. I wanted to break the mood a little bit. No, but you're right, and we have a deep affection for one another. I love you too, buddy, and we're like brothers in arms on this type of topic and many others. So I want to get into something that really kicks off this idea because it's hard to wake up every day and feel like this. I mean, if your tank is empty and you're not rested, and there are seasons of life where we're just running hard. We need to figure out how to fill our cup first thing, especially as leaders but even as employees or people who are going to serve other leaders. And starting off your day right is a really important part of developing your skills as a leader. One of the ways I like to start my day is with a cup of coffee. Right on my long drive into town. As a lot of you know, we've got a hobby farm and there's a little bit of a drive. And so I either make myself a cup of coffee that's done just a certain way, or I like to stop at a Starbucks along the way. And Starbucks has been in the news a lot lately. Wall Street Journal wrote an article mid-fall, and they've had a bunch of news on this since. Vance, and we just talked to your team about this recently. Their new CEO, Brian Niccol, who kind of led a turnaround with Chipotle and then was brought in to do the same for Starbucks, who's been striving for market relevance in a new way. He implemented two new things that amongst, I'm sure, a bunch of others, but two are notable amongst team members in the day-to-day operations. And the first one is, well, maybe I'll have you guess, Vance. What do you think they are?
Well, I truly am guessing, but I would say one of them has to do, I would think, with the team connecting before customers are going to be, showing up.
It's a good guess. And that would be remarkable if they did that, if they had a little shift meeting or huddle beforehand. That's something that you've adopted at all of your sites. In truth, one of the things they stopped doing is during COVID, they did away with the bistro station, right? And they're bringing that back. As a matter of fact, in a lot of places, they probably already have. And they're doing that so people can customize their drink even more than just ordering it off the menu. is, there's a ton of different ways you can order a drink there, and it might be the same thing as the person behind you, but there's a whole different language set for it. And while people can get that customization, they want it even more their own way by putting a little dash of cream or a little dash of nutmeg on it themselves. Well, Starbucks is saying you can have that back, and they're doing that now. Some team members are frustrated by that because it creates a lot of cleanup and mess, but others are really happy because customers want the barista to customize it, but they do it wrong. They say, I'll have a little splash of cream, and they put too much in, and it bums them out, right? So this little signature of, I want it just my own special way, is a real, I think, wink at customization that Starbucks is focusing on. And I just love it.
I love it too. I mean, before you make me guess wrong on the second one, uh, I gotta say, one of the things that fascinates me um, is when people talk about the golden rule. This idea of treating others like you would want to be treated. But what Starbucks is doing with what they are doing is the pinnacle of it, the platinum rule, treating people the way they want to be treated. And so what they're doing is doing what they do best and letting the, customer take it in for the, finish line on the way they want it done. And it's just a beautiful combination of a business doing what they're great at and then kind of getting the customer involved in that ultimate cup of coffee that's just going to, melt their heart and hear the angels sing before they drift on to their day.
Vance, I just love what you just said. The platinum rule. Have you heard that before or used it before?
Oh yeah, yes. I mean,
That's so great.
I can't take credit for it. I mean, but it's something that you and I love doing. We love serving and trying to figure out what's going to touch that person's heart. Not, what we want, but going deeper. What do they want? And that means you have to connect and get to know them in that mini moment.
Yeah. I mean, it's so much more powerful than just treat people the way you would want to be treated. Treat them the way they want to be treated. Because
Right.
you might not be good to yourself, or
Right.
you might be satisfied by less. I mean, you have a very low threshold for what you prefer in life, which I'm always, I always joke about somebody from your hometown who told me, or maybe it was you, who said that your life goal was to someday live in Sioux Falls and drive a Suburban, right? And here you are, a leader of a lot of great clinics and doing a bunch of research, and you've certainly accomplished your goal, right?
Yeah, but it was three things, and it was me that said it, and it was at the wise stage of the eighth grade when I told my mom, "You'll know I've made it in life when I live in Sioux Falls and I have my own Suburban and my own drum set." And I was angling for the drum set, but she knew I could use the school drum set, so I didn't get it. But I now have all three.
I love the story because it just talks about your roots, and which is so admirable. But the other thing that I like about it is it shows how easily satisfied we might be in treating people like we would treat ourselves. Our threshold for what we might want is a lot lower than other people might see in us. Meanwhile, platinum rule, we're talking about how, I want to treat you how you would want to be treated, which if I think about how you would want to be treated from me and how I want to bless you, that's a much higher calling for me than maybe how I might treat myself. And so I really like that mentality. And I'll bet we talk about the platinum rule more. Well, let's get to the second thing that Starbucks was talking about, because this one brought a lot of consternation from team members, but they're bringing back the handwritten note on the cup, right? Again, during COVID, they slapped a lot of these digital labels on who was ordering through the app and who had it ready. And now they're being asked, the employees, the baristas, are being asked to put a little note on it. The Sharpies are coming back, which is
Wow.
awesome. I'm preparing to have my name spelled all kinds of different ways, which is hard to do because, Matt, the only right way to spell it is, M-A-T-T. Shout out to all of you who do it wrong with one T. I see you. But I love that that he's reminded frontline team members to be very intentional about remembering there's a personal customer right in front of you who is completely unique. their visit might be the 100th order of your shift, but it's their only order this morning and maybe tomorrow morning. So your level of paying attention to their detail, it's a every order reminder of customer preference that I think is really smart. And there's some pushback by employees, and there's some employees that are totally embracing it and putting, smileys and other drawings on it. And you can watch more online. And so there's a bunch of great things on social media about how it's being implemented. But I love that some of the biggest leaders in our land are going back to such basics. And I just think we can learn a lot from that.
Well, we know the power of, just smile and eye contact and truly connecting. So anything that's, personalized like that. And so their own handwriting is just so much more touching than something digital. And like you said, that smiley or whatever their personal touch is just so wonderful. And the only thing I wanted to add to your story is, I don't know if you've heard about the study they did, but mats with 1T, don't need that extra level of security of that second T. So I don't know if you saw that before, but.
Well, I was going to make something up when you said you matter. And I was like, remember, it's 2 T's. You just referenced the most advanced research ever performed. Thanks for joining us on Free Range Vision.